shocked to find out literally the next day that the person that they had arrested for this had been released from prison under the Safety Act, detained less, I think, than 48 hours.
Scott Gartner is the mayor of Antioch, where Megan Boss and her family lives. He's also a practicing attorney for 25 years. He says the system failed.
I mean, there's other extenuating circumstances in this case, not only the type of crime, how long the crime was concealed, the fact that the person that was arrested for this is not a U.S. citizen and, could maybe flight from the country.
37-year-old Megan Boss went missing in February. Her mother, Jennifer Boss, searched relentlessly.
It's all I get back from her. It's her jewelry. I didn't get to see her.
The search ended in heartbreak. Megan Boss was found under a blue tarp hidden in a container behind a Waukegan home. She had been missing for 7 weeks. Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez knew Megan. He told police she overdosed at his home. But instead of calling for help, he broke her phone, kept her body in the basement for 2 days, then moved it outside. He's now charged with concealing her death and abuse of a corpse, but he's not in custody.
Someone that hid their body in a garbage can for 51 days. After leaving it in the basement for 2 days, after not calling 911, breaking a phone. Is this a non-detainable offense? Should we not find out, wait for a toxicology report, anything?
Megan's friends are haunted by the new information they've received.
Where we centralized most of the searches was within 200 feet of where she was the entire time.
We're not stopping Megan's story is because we want justice for her, but we never want this to happen to somebody else again.
The mayor of Antioch agrees, saying the law needs to be re-examined.
And there's 2 ways to hold somebody, and that is obviously the nature of the crime and then the flight risk element. I think what should have happened is that they should have pressed for the highest amount of charges and applied the law as it's written and found a way to keep this person detained, especially given the fact of, this was concealed for 60 days.
A vigil for Megan will happen Saturday. Police are still awaiting toxicology results to determine.
Damn, that little fucking beaner killed that white lady, man. Jesus Christ. Let's see what else is going on here, man. Yeesh. Not a lot going on, man. That video was enthralling, man. Watching my people, man, struggle in Africa, man.
Breaking news in Milwaukee. A judge is facing federal charges for allegedly impeding federal deportation efforts. FBI agents are reportedly arresting her in the courthouse.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli is in Milwaukee live with what we know tonight. Courtney?
Ray and Jenna, good evening. Dozens of people came to the steps here of the federal courthouse holding signs and condemning the arrest of the local judge, saying that it also raises concern for anyone showing in their own court cases. Now, she did face a judge this morning in federal court not long after her arrest.
We are here to fight back.
The arrest of Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan stirring up strong reaction from protesters outside federal court. The 65-year-old was arrested Friday by the FBI at the county courthouse where she's a sitting judge, charged with obstruction and concealing a man in the country illegally to prevent his arrest.
In my opinion, there was really no other reason to arrest a sitting judge in the courthouse other than to make a splash.
Prominent Milwaukee criminal defense attorney Michael F. Hart.
Why do all liberal women look like that? They all just look horrible. God. She literally looks like She looks like an old fucking football player from back in the day, man. Tank Podzinski, who played back in the 70s and shit. That when men played. Jesus Christ, man. The fuck is wrong with these liberal women?
Weighing in, he feels given the nature of the allegations against Dugan, he calls nonviolent, she should have been allowed to surrender. What could come next for Dugan, he explains.
Anytime a judge or a lawyer is charged criminally, formally, with formal criminal charges, I would expect that there would be some judicial tenure or Office of Lawyer Regulation investigation. I would hope Judge Dugan, like any person in America charged with a crime, would get a fair and thorough investigation.
The 13-page federal complaint alleges Dugan helped Eduardo Flores Ruiz from Mexico avoid an arrest by immigration officials who had a warrant. Witnesses told investigators Dugan became visibly angry, calling the situation, quote, absurd, and tried to get the federal agents to leave. As Flores Ruiz was in her courtroom for a pending domestic violence case, and ICE agents were waiting in the building to arrest him. Dugan allegedly escorted him and his counsel out the jury door to a non-public area. He was eventually arrested outside the courthouse after a short chase.
He is someone who was, presenting himself at court as he is supposed to do legally.
Flores Ruiz's fingerprints sounded the alarm to immigration officials who determined he wasn't supposed to be in the U.S. in the first place. He was deported in 2013 after coming into the country illegally and allegedly never got permission to re-enter. Dugan's arrest for allegedly protecting him, sparking strong reactions on both sides of the aisle, former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker included. He wrote in a post on X, quote, liberals are not denying the fact that she tried to obstruct justice. Instead, they tried to divert attention with fraudulent claims of weaponizing the criminal justice system. Walker says he believes the Wisconsin legislature should vote to remove Dugan from office. State law says a justice or judge may be removed if 2/3 of all members elected to each house agree within. But that can't happen unless the person is served with a copy of the charges as a grounds for redress and has an opportunity to be heard. Meanwhile, similar to calls outside the courthouse, Democratic lawmakers also throwing in their thoughts. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker claims it's an alarming escalation of what he calls Trump's war on the courts, writing in part, quote, while we must closely follow the emerging facts and details of this case, there is no question today is an extremely unusual and concerning step in Trump's attacks against the rule of law. A statement from Dugan's attorneys claimed the judge has committed herself to the rule of law and principles of due process. In part, they wrote, quote, Judge Dugan will defend herself vigorously and looks forward to being exonerated. This will be the extent.
Jesus Christ. They are horrible. These people are fucking horrible. I mean, they're just awful. 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 Everyone hit the like button, man.
issuing a final forfeiture order against an admitted drug kingpin and his co-defendants in a multi-million enterprise. Darren Southall pleading guilty in 2021. The order includes more than $2.1 million seized from various locations and assorted jewelry seized from Southall and co-defendant Terrence Watkins. It also includes 14 vehicles and a money judgment of $24 million. Prosecutors say that's equivalent to the drug proceeds from Southall's operation. Southall is serving a 35-year prison sentence. He and Watkins also have been charged with the murder of the grandparents of Mobile-born rapper Honeycomb Brazy.
Jesus Christ. So he was
also been charged with the murder of the grandparents of Mobile-born rapper Honeycomb Brazy.
Damn. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Charged with the murder of the rapper, of the grandparents of the rapper Honeycomb Brazy. Let's see what this is a shithole, but they got white people down here. So let's see what the white people are doing down here.
Matt, thank you. It's now 8:17 on your Friday. The Mobile Museum of Art invites the community to celebrate its newly redesigned Fantastical Forest exhibit. Tomorrow, the museum is hosting a family fun day with creative activities for all ages. This morning, we have Mary Beth Larson and Caitlin Almanor. Ladies, good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
So excited you guys are here. Mary Beth, what is more fantastic than a fantastical forest?
I can't think of many things that are more fantastic than a fantastical forest.
I can't either. What's so cool about this, if people have loved this space and some of this art in the past, you still have ties to that. This is newly redesigned. What have you guys changed over the last few months?
Sure. So we, when we originally had this exhibition open, we had a playhouse in the middle, and we found that it just didn't work for the space. It wasn't very accessible, and then kids were more focused on going down the slide and doing that stuff than like looking around. So we have redesigned it, and we have a new water feature. We actually had Lucy Gafford and her team come in, and they made a resin pool that has some familiar sea animals that we see, like crawfish and turtles. And there's like little fish in there. It's so cute. And then there's a bridge. So it focuses more on the art. And we did this about a year ago, and it's been really great.
Thank you, white people, for bringing some goddamn culture to this goddamn savage ass place, man.
Of yesterday's crazy high-speed chase. Right now, a woman is locked up, facing multiple charges in connection to the crime. A blazing fast chase that started in Mobile, going through the county and ending right across the state line in Mississippi, and some of it was caught on camera. Chaos and confusion for many drivers yesterday when they found themselves right smack in the middle of a high-speed chase. This video showing the intersection of Three Notch and Gold Mine roads when several Mobile police cars were hot on the trail of a stolen car allegedly being driven by Renata Washington. MVD says the 30-year-old Theodore woman ran.
You think the officer gonna try to get her number, man? Press 1 if you think the officer gonna try to get her number when they catch her. Gonna try to flirt with her.
Theodore woman rammed a patrol car in the Tillman's Corner area during that chase. After that, speeds got up to nearly 100 miles per hour as she crisscrossed the city and county. The chase ending right across the state line in Mississippi. Police say Washington lost control of the car and got stuck on the side of Franklin Creek Road. She was arrested and charged with felony attempting to elude, receiving stolen property, and criminal mischief. And according to Metro Jail records, Washington has been booked 7 times in the last 2 years. Tonight, she's being held on no bond.
Let's see what else going on in Mobile, y'all.
We'll talk about a comeback. South Alabama's cheer team flipping the script after placing last at Nationals a year ago. They returned to the mat with something to prove, and they delivered.
Yes, they did. The all-girl stunt group nailed their routine at the College Classic National Championship in Orlando. And now, for the first time in program history, they are national champions. Sports director Emily Cochran takes you to the mat to relive their picture-perfect performance and the redemption moment they'll never forget.
And congratulations to your national champions from the University of South Alabama. Welcome, Madison, Emily, and Mallory. You couldn't have written up a better finish for these South Alabama cheerleaders. But that wasn't the story just 1 year ago. Twin sisters Logan and Mallory Collins, Emily Morgan, and Maddie Welch competed in the exact same event last April. But a crucial mistake at the end of their routine meant there was no chance for a national title. But they went back to the mat and got to work for a shot at redemption.
Our very last 5 seconds, we dropped our very last skill. And so we placed at the very bottom. So I think, this year us being able to get
Beautiful white girls, man. See, these cities are not just Negro crime and terrible bullshit for niggas. There's actually a lot of good going on in these cities, man.
Mobile's largest yard sale is tomorrow at the grounds. It's your chance to get rid of any unwanted items taking up space. We're told spaces are $40 for a 10-foot by 18-foot parking space. Online signups have already ended, so if you want to be a vendor, you have to bring cash or a check. The event starts early at 7 o'clock and it runs until 11 o'clock. Organizers say this is a rain or shine event. So if you're going and you're not a vendor, maybe just to find something, you never know. You could end up getting a real treasure.
Salute to the good people of oh shit. We got some gliders down here, man, acting the fool.
An Irvington man will serve time in prison for causing a fiery motorcycle crash in 2020. Cody Wilcox pleading guilty in April to first-degree assault DUI and escape. A judge sentencing him to 15 years with all but 3 years suspended and 5 years of probation. Now, the crash happened in September of 2020 on Airport Boulevard. Prosecutors say Wilcox was under the influence of alcohol when he crashed his car into a motorcycle, causing it to burst into flames. The victim suffered severe injuries and had to have his leg amputated.
Damn, he cooked that white boy 15 years. Damn. Judge smoked that white boy's boots, man. Judge smoked that white boy's boots, man. God damn, man. See this white boy get off a little
Attorney
better.
for a Mobile man charged with murder argues his client's bond is, quote, excessive and unconstitutional. This morning, a hearing was held for Matthew Sanders. In February, investigators say he shot and killed Hunter Lyons outside the Alabama Bar and Lounge. He's been in jail since the shooting on a $250,000 bond. To get out, he'll have to pay at least 10% of that in cash. His lawyer, though, says that's too much, given Sanders' financial ability. And he also claims the shooting was in self-defense after the victim allegedly chased his client around a parking lot. A circuit court judge denied the motion, agreeing with the state that the bond was constitutional. The case was sent to a grand jury last month.
Oh, so this white boy get to go. This white boy don't get his bond reduced in a self-defense case. Y'all see the two-tier justice system? How come this white boy can't get his bond reduced?
That's too much, given Sanders' financial ability. And he also claims the shooting was in self-defense after the victim allegedly chased his client around a parking lot. A circuit court judge denied the motion, agreeing with the state that the bond was constitutional. The case was sent to a grand jury last month. That decision will determine whether Sanders is indicted.
Come on, white boy. Let's see what you got.
Police arresting the man you see on your screen for allegedly using a power tool to cut a hole in the back of a business to get inside. We're told police found Patrick Levins in the shop on Highway 59 just before 3 o'clock this morning. Investigators are working to see if he's been involved in other crimes in Baldwin County since traveling from Pensacola. For now, he faces multiple charges, including burglary.
Give me another city, man. Shout out to S Freak, man. Give me another city, man. I guess everybody figures that the stream is down, man. The stream ain't down, man. The stream ain't down. The stream back up. Stream's not down. The stream's back up. I'm gonna say Texarkana. They said Texarkana. That nigga said Texarkana. Hot Springs at, what the fuck is at? Palataca, Florida. The Yukon. San Diego. Palataca. You said you got a 30%, you got a 60% blacks in Palataca. God damn. May the force be with you. Oh, that's Jacksonville. Oh shit. That's exactly First Coast News. Okay, let me see. Maybe it's First Coast News. Maybe First Coast News. Jeez. Let's see what's going on down here. What is this? Jackson says Jacksonville, Florida. The official YouTube, First Coast, NBC, ABC, Jacksonville, Florida. Okay.
A new development today in the push to end Florida's so-called free kill law, which is 1 week left in the legislative session. This afternoon, an amendment to add caps to the Senate version of the bill was filed. State Senator Clay Yarborough, who's from Jacksonville and introduced the bill, says while he's open to caps, the Senate needs to pass a bill that can also be supported by the House and the governor. This amendment, filed by a different senator today, which still needs approval, calls for a $500,000 limit on non-economic damages for medical negligence of a practitioner and $750,000 for hospitals, regardless of whether the person survived or died.
So to say, oh, well, we'll get rid of free kill, but we'll put caps on everyone, it's just wrong. Medical negligence is not one size fits all. Caps are.
Cindy Jenkins has been pushing for the law to be repealed since learning she couldn't sue for medical malpractice after her daughter Taylor's death, because Taylor fell into a category of what critics call the free kill category. She was over 25, not married, and had no children under 25.
My hope is that when this bill hits the Senate chamber next week, which I really believe it will, there's no guarantee, but I believe it will. My hope is that the majority of the Senate votes no on the amendment and votes yes on the clean repeal of free kill. We'll then have a Senate bill that matches the House bill, and this law will finally be laid to rest after 35 years of people losing their loved ones and finding out they have no recourse.
Now, the House already passed a bill to repeal the free kill law without caps. The Senate and House bill do have to pass matching bills. A Senate and House, I should say, have to pass matching bills for it to go to the governor's desk. The legislative session ends next Friday, and we, of course, will keep.
Fuck, man, you white people make such complicated shit, so complicated. Why can't the chief just be like, it is law? And it be done with, man. Let's see. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Support the channel.
New this afternoon, an arrest has been made in connection to the Lake City Easter celebration shooting. 25-year-old he was arrested on aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by convicted felon charges. Records show he was released from prison just 1 day before the shooting after serving over 4 years for battery on a pregnant woman. Police say he was arrested on aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by convicted felon charges. Records show he was released from prison just 1 day before the shooting after serving over 4 years for battery on a pregnant woman. Police say more arrests are expected.
Yo, you do 4 years in prison, come home for 1 day. Oh, man, let me drop the link, man. Let me drop the link, man. Let me drop the link with. I ain't gonna hold you, man. What's up?
Hey,
Ain't nothing.
what happened?
What? Yeah, your mic been fucked up, Jack. Jeez. It's Jacksonville. Jeez. Yikes.
Bond has been revoked now for the Palatka pastor who investigators arrested last week for sexual battery on a child. Leo Alfonso Parker is the lead pastor at Emerge Church of Palatka.
Is that your cousin?
The judge requested he remain in custody in the Putnam County Jail. And that's where we find our Christina Burgess, who is live now in front of the jail in Putnam County. And Christina,
one
she
big
has been going
fucker.
through court records today. What have you found?
Well, yeah, Leo Parker is still behind bars here at the Putnam County Jail. Court records show that the victim may be related to Parker, and he's had contact with her since she was a young child.
It's gut-wrenching. First of all, it doesn't matter what your vocation is. That's just wrong.
Mom of two, Karmelo Johnson, is stunned when hearing about the arrest of Palatka pastor Leo Alfonso Parker. Parker is charged with sexual battery of a minor 12 to 18 years by a person in family or custodial authority, a crime punishable for life in prison. As a pastor's wife herself, she's disheartened to hear these charges.
And when people come to you with that vulnerability, they come to you searching for help and searching for that relationship and that fulfillment with God. And so that's a role that the community should be able to trust.
According to records from Putnam County, on April 16th of this year, a complaint was filed by the victim's mom. A warrant affidavit reveals the mother of the victim told police she obtained screenshots of text messages and money transactions between Parker and her daughter. Another affidavit shows the victim told police Parker is a family member. Records go on to state Parker began sexually abusing the victim when she was 14. That abuse at times happening at church. This is the church location where Parker's congregation at Emerge Church meets. Joy Unspeakable Church is not affiliated with Parker's church.
It's literally called Joy Unspeakable. That's the name of the church.
This is the Matrix laughing at us right now. Where was Jeebus in all this? Why didn't Jeebus stop this?
That's freak in the back.
Why was this his plan?
No.
Good question, Fisher.
Why did your cousin do that?
I don't know. Shame on him, man.
Was he doing this because he was looking at nudie mags when he was little?
Yo,
hey, that's freak
gonna
in
be
the back.
Excuse. Yeah, that's gonna be the next excuse, man.
Here, KB, it's all good.
Blame it on the porn, man. Joy Unspeakable. Don't speak
What the
about
fuck? Like, what a dumbass name. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
What happens in here stays in here.
At Emerge Church meets. Joy Unspeakable Church is not affiliated with Parker's church. On April 23rd, Parker stood before a judge in court, and the judge requested Parker be held with no bond and taken into custody. The judge also instructed him to have no contact with the victim or minors.
There are consequences, and it's a tragic thing, and justice has to be done in that circumstance.
And I did reach out to Parker's attorney and the state attorney's office here in Palatka. I'm still waiting to hear back from them at this time, but when we do, we will update you at firstcoastnews.com. Reporting live in Palatka.
Jesus Christ, man. Moving around all these damn Negroes, man, in Palatka.
Do you think a punishment of sending sons back to Africa for crime would be a bigger deterrent than sending them to jail?
Yes, without a doubt.
Maybe we should do that.
If you threaten, if you really was about it, like you was really sending them back, like not just talking about it, like actually they could see, like, okay, niggas is going back. Yes, that would be definite deterrent. Because the niggas love white people, man. Love living around white people, man.
Are you saying
Access
that
to white is not a human right?
Are you saying that public transportation in DC would be better than the fucking rickshaw bullshit they're doing over there in the Congo or wherever the fuck that was at?
Yeah, man. everything will be better. How about that?
All new
You
this
know, it's
morning,
too
the
bad
Jacksonville
that they
Sheriff's
can't
Office
resist the
arrested
impulse to kill gliders since they want to live around us. Like, they could at least do that.
Yeah, I mean, but they're gonna kill everybody. Like you're starting to see it in Japan, where they, annoying the Japans on this public transportation. But it's not enough to start killing the Japanese. But once their numbers get high enough, they start killing those Japanese people too.
That's a thought. Distinct
They got
possibility.
to put a samurai in every fucking train car.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be.
They would do some shit like that.
It's a lot of us here. It's a lot of us around you guys. Like it's a lot of us here, man. It's in the places where the cities, especially in the cities, we're living around a lot of us, man. So
Yeah, it sucks.
You get off easy. You get off easy, man. When you think about it.
All new this morning, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrests 10 people, seized drugs and guns and more than $1,000 in cash. This is a part of a long-term drug investigation at a Northside motel. All 10 people arrested will now face felony charges.
God damn, that's a rough looking bunch right there, Jack. God damn.
You know, I've been learning about like the international crime rings and syndicates, and it just strikes me how low on the totem pole and how small scale the Sunman is in that the great things in the criminal underworld.
What do you mean? Explain that.
Like like there's no African gangs that like run shit globally. Like it's like the Albanians, the Russians, it's all gliders.
Oh, you talking about like international? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean we're not built for that. We're not logistical. The logistics it takes to like ship drugs and products across oceans and.
Some criminals are more numerous, but they're not as
But with
organized.
how inclined sons are to be criminals, if they could figure it out, they would dominate.
That's what I'm saying, KP. Like sons are more numerous. Like some criminals are more numerous, but they're not as organized and they're not as like large scale. You know what I mean? They don't think big picture. You feel me?
Yep.
Right.
Very little strategy.
Shout out to Jackie Lavazati Jr. Says gliders move in, open businesses, clean up, and build a community just for some Klondike too. Call it gentrification. Damn. Klondike. Fisherman, LOL, language manipulation. Damn, that was crazy because it's Klondike. Fuck. So yeah, these I mean, yeah, when you bust sons, yeah, it's you can bust 1,000. It's still small time though. Yeah, we small time. We're the last line of defense. We're like the hand to hand. You know what I mean? The lowest. If you take a big ass shipment of drugs, and then you break it down into like fractions of like 10 keys, and then you get those keys to each supplier, 10 keys to each supplier, and then that guy takes the 10 keys and breaks it down into, something for his, to his soldiers. Each soldier gets a key or whatever. Then that soldier breaks it down to like ounces, I guess, or whatever. That's when you start seeing the Sunman in the picture. Once it gets broken down into ounces.
Yeah, you can't have people like Mac Knight doing the ratios and shit at the high levels.
Hand-to-hand sales.
I mean, like you got like Freeway, Ricky Ross, and like the guy from American Gangster. What's his name? Frank something.
The Black Mafia family was pretty rich, but nothing compared to the competition.
Yeah, true. But like I'm saying, those guys are really rare in the grand scheme of things in terms of organized crime.
And they make things look good too. Like sons know how to make things look better. Like sons will you want to have jewelry and fast cars and shit, and really shouldn't be doing the business is right, like not doing as well as it should be for somebody to be doing having all that stuff. You know what I mean? So like sons show their money, they wear their money, they drive their money. You know what I mean? So you can also get fooled by sons too. You know what I mean?
Sons attract more attention to themselves. That's the thing.
Yeah, we let's just put it like this. Like if a Jew had $1 million, you wouldn't know it. If a son had $1,000, everybody would know it.
Damn.
So I get $1,000. He going shopping. You get some tennis shoes, outfit. You know what I'm saying? Something to look nice, so that people know, yeah, I'm doing good. Because we like to, we like to make each other jealous and shit. I don't know why when it leads to such bad outcomes, because you really don't want some people jealous.
I believe it's called stunting.
Yeah. Wow, this is sad, man.
Along the First Coast are gathering outside City Hall here in Jacksonville, demanding justice for Charles Faggart. Faggart was the inmate who died 2 weeks ago from injuries.
Charles
What's his name?
Faggart.
Faggart.
Oh, Faggart.
Holy shit.
That's the
Faggart.
sad part, man. I don't even know what the story's about. I just said that was
Dude,
the sad
that is
part.
the worst last name I've ever seen.
I'm telling you, man. God damn.
Are we sure he didn't kill himself?
What's worse, Gaylord or Faggart?
Faggart.
Gaylord is just like, like
At least it has Lord in the
Faggart is
name.
terrible.
Yeah. Gay. I mean, it's people just named Gay, like Marvin Gaye and shit. Like, I mean, you could deal with that. Fag is the slur, though. I'd rather always be called the name, the regular name, the colloquial name than the slur. Like, it's like, what's the difference? What's the worse, Michael Black or Michael Nigger? Like, I mean, it's like, what's you know what I'm saying? It's like the
Black. Wicked is in the back.
yeah, man. Shout out to R5D4, man. He says they got the DC Blacks Fed PG. They're deep. Yeah, DC Blacks in the Fed. Yeah, Blacks in the DC Blacks are formidable. Yeah, formidable force in the federal penitentiary system. Yeah, man. Definitely, man. They rough, man. DC Blacks are troublemakers, man. They cause trouble, man. They kick ass and take names, man.
Along the
I heard
First
the
Coast are
AP gave him a
gathering
run for their
outside
money.
City Hall here in
That
Jacksonville.
true?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they definitely always have conflict with the Aryan Brotherhood, and they have conflict with they get along with New Orleans. I hear brothers tell me that like the New Orleans guys, they get along with the New Orleans and the DC guys click up, but they have problems with everybody because of the way they act. DC dudes are troublemakers. They're arrogant too. A lot of DC guys are very, very arrogant, man. Extremely arrogant, man.
Bill demanding justice for Charles Faggart. Faggart was the inmate who died 2 weeks ago from injuries he suffered while in the Duval County Jail. 9 corrections employees are under investigation right now in connection to his death. Our Sydney Deshawn is joining us live outside Jacksonville City Hall. And Sydney, people are planning to speak before the city council meeting tonight, including Charles Faggart's mom.
Yes, that's right. I just spoke with Charles's mom moments ago, who says she's been left in the dark and she just wants answers. Earlier today, dozens gathered outside City Hall demanding accountability and transparency in the death of Charles Faggart, holding signs saying, "Release the redacted and justice for Charles." Now, community members are calling on JSO to release footage of the incident. However, it is unknown if there is any video of the incident. And right now, they are getting ready to speak to members of City Council tonight. That's friends, family, and even strangers. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has asked the FBI to help investigate this case. JSO says they're continuing to work diligently to gain a complete understanding of the facts and circumstances that led up to the death of Charles Faggart.
My son was loved by way many more people than they thought. You know, I mean, he was not
That's
a
a
nobody.
fucking
He
ghoul.
was somebody. He was a successful food truck man. He did catering.
That's Baba Yaga right
All the
there.
restaurants adore him.
And I reached out to the mayor for comment on this. Mayor Donna Deegan said her heart goes out to the family, and as this investigation continues, she will make sure to monitor it closely. For now, reporting live from downtown, Cindy Deshawn, First.
He went down there to cause harm that day, and my brother just so happened to be the one that received it.
A man visiting southern Arizona killed in the middle of the day by a hatchet-wielding suspect. And tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from that man's family as they demand justice for their loved one. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. The attack happened earlier this month when the man was visiting Tucson with his wife. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with that man's brother today about this gruesome tragedy. Chase?
Mark Kriebe, the victim in this case, Jake Couch, and his wife, Kristen, were at a Tucson bus stop waiting for their ride to get back home to Alabama when his brother tells me a man came up to him and attacked him.
He was just such a selfless person.
Luke Couch has always looked up to his big brother, Jake.
He was my first idol. I wanted to be just like him growing up.
With Jake always keeping an eye out for him.
Made sure that, I didn't get picked on or anything like that whenever.
Now, Luke only wishes he could have been there for him.
I feel so helpless and I wasn't able to do anything.
It was earlier this month when Jake and his wife, Kristen, took a trip to California.
They had a stillborn son a few months back, and they went to Los Angeles to grieve, and they were actually on their way home back to Alabama.
They had to make a stop in Tucson, and while waiting at the bus stop, police say a man came up to them.
The man actually told them to get up, and my brother told him that to mind his own business, like they're not hurting anything.
Couch says the man dressed in all black was drunk.
Really agitated.
So Jake and Kristen decided to get away from him.
My brother turned around and bent down to grab his things. The man came up behind him and hit him in the neck with a hatchet.
Kristen says the suspect walked away with her husband bleeding on the ground. Jake was taken to the hospital, but after 13 days on life support, he died from his injuries.
I've probably cried more in the past 2 weeks down here than I have in the last 20 years.
The suspect who police say killed Jake is Daniel Michael. Court records reveal security camera footage showed the attack, and when police went to his home, they found the hatchet. Michael was arrested.
He went down there to cause harm that day. And
what is that right there? What is that? It's a mulatto? Melungeon?
That's the Jew wet dream right there.
Yeah, that's a melungeon right there. Yo, you know, I got that same hairstyle on.
Yeah, man. It's a winner, man. Whew. So yeah, we off the hook. Yeah, we off the hook. This wasn't a sunsuit. This wasn't a situation, man. This is a melungeon, man. I'm not taking melungeon crimes no more, man. It's them, man.
Harmed that day, and my brother just so happened to be the one that received it.
Luke and his family still can't believe what happened, but he says even after they go back to Alabama to lay his brother to rest, he will come back to Tucson until justice is done.
I made a promise to my brother when he was on life support that as long as I'm alive, I will fight and make sure that my brother gets justice and that this doesn't happen to another family.
A GoFundMe account has been created to help the Couch family with travel and funeral expenses. You can find a link to that on our website. Mark Caribe.
Chase, thanks.
You know, as often as gliders get killed by POC, I refuse to believe that this wasn't going on back when. No way it wasn't. You know what I mean?
You said what?
As often as we see gliders getting killed by POC, there is no way they were not getting killed like this way back when.
They were, but you could lynch them.
On April 23rd, 2000.
You said you could lynch them.
No, you could. It was not obvious that there were contingency measures.
Jesus Christ. You get your lynch on, everybody get your lynch on.
Yikes.
Christ. Let's see this.
New information tonight on his ancestors had the right idea with these people. Press 1.
Who?
It feels that way.
Whose ancestors?
Fishermen's.
Don't you have the same ancestors as fishermen? Aren't you both gliders?
No, I'm Korean.
Yeah, what kind of glider are you as Freak? We know the fisherman is Mick. What are you?
I'm Southern European.
So what's that? What specifically would you consider that? A god?
Huh? What were you gonna say?
What, a Visigoth?
No, I'm from the Balkans, Italy, Portugal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. New information tonight on a murder investigation in Tunica County. The sheriff's office telling us one suspect is in custody in connection to a deadly shooting Sunday night that took the life of an 18-year-old. And tonight, a second suspect, a 17-year-old, remains at large. WRG's Mike Sirianni spoke with the victim's mother about her loss.
I feel like I raised him the correct way. I guided him. I tried my best.
Tuesday, Whitney Thomas grieving the loss of her 18-year-old son.
We did this one. We did that one.
Time check, it is 6:23. In 2022, a Memphis family received a life-changing phone call where they learned a teenage loved one was shot and killed. Now, over a year and a half later, they are still trying to get justice. Here's more in today's Manhunt Monday.
It's him. It's him. Try to get in touch with his dad. It's him.
Shay Moore is talking about the moment she found out her nephew, 18-year-old Kylan Dixon, had been shot. Memphis police say the shooting happened September 23rd of 2022 in the 4600 block of Chulahoma Road at County Line Grocery Store. Moore says the nightmare started with a phone call.
My daughter called, actually. I was in the bed asleep. And when she called me, everything in me I just jumped up out of my sleep because she was crying. It was like, they killed my cousin.
Her cousin, Kylan Dixon, who Moore says was a caring and loving teenager with personality that could light up a room. Homicide investigators say when they arrived on the scene, they found Dixon lying in the parking lot of the store with multiple gunshot wounds. Moore says she saw the surveillance video of the shooting and the whole situation was senseless.
The boy was already in the store standing in line like he was finna buy something. And I guess he seen from outside my nephew walking in. So as he see my nephew coming walking in, he leaves out of the line to go like he leaving out the door. So I guess words were exchanged. I don't know for sure. But we see the boy like turn around, walking back like he finna get back in line. And that's when we seen him pull the gun out to shoot him.
Moore says that's when the gunman ran away.
He shot him inside the store. My nephew ran out and collapsed in the parking lot.
Moore says when she arrived on the scene, all she saw at first was crime scene tape and blue lights.
I had to pull a police officer to the side and ask him, like, is that Kylan? He was like, yes, it's him.
Moore says Kylan died in that parking lot. Memphis homicide investigators released this picture of the shooter. Take a good look at him. If you recognize him, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Your tip could help put a dangerous criminal behind bars and $4,000 cash in your pocket. Remember, all calls are confidential.
Don't you fall asleep, goddammit.
Wake up.
I'm not asleep. Why you keep saying that? I heard everything y'all was saying.
Wicked, you better have that phone on speed dial, please. We need a
I wasn't.
contingency plan.
Yeah, to make sure your phone's on, Chief.
I wasn't asleep, man. I swear I wasn't asleep, man. I wasn't asleep.
Say Takesha Eads was the victim of domestic violence when she was shot and killed yesterday in West Orange County. The Orange County Sheriff's Office arresting her husband, 41-year-old Lamar Bryant, for her death. Channel 9's Sabrina Maggiore is live outside of the Orange County Jail where Bryant is being held. And Sabrina, Bryant is back in jail for the second time this month.
Martha, just 2 weeks ago, Bryant was let out of jail on bond for fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer and possession of cocaine with the intention to sell. Now, today, Takesha Eads' family says they're not focusing on that arrest. Instead, they're honoring their mother and sharing a warning to victims of domestic violence.
We mourn the loss of a beautiful soul, and you know, she's truly missed.
Cordesia Page says she's felt the outpouring of love on social media for her mother, 42-year-old Takesha Eads. One day after Eads was shot and killed, she's finding comfort in her mother's faith.
On her walk with God, she was bringing a lot of people with her, but this just happened, and it's, you know,
Walked with God. Walked right into the fucking coffin.
Walk with God, got a goddamn son, man, psychopath walking with her, huh? I guess he was her tour guide.
Somebody help somebody else.
Page telling us her mother was the victim of domestic violence. According to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, 41-year-old Lamar Antonio Bryant shot and killed Eads Tuesday. The family says Bryant and Eads were married.
Every 90 seconds, someone is experiencing abuse.
CEO of Central Florida's Harbor House, Michelle Spurzl, says her organization helps domestic violence victims make a safety plan.
If someone is fearful of their life and they know that something has changed and they are saying to themselves, if I don't leave now, he is going to kill me or she is going to kill me. That is exactly why our emergency shelter is there.
Page warning others to leave when they can. Her kids now have to grow up in a world without their grandmother.
It's not going to get better. So it doesn't matter how much you love the person or how much you feel like the person is going to change. It's not going to happen. And if you do have kids, think about your kids first.
And 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Harbor House says that 99% of the people who
UA student Darius Miles was arrested over the weekend. Michael Davis was also arrested, having no connection with the school. Both Miles and Davis are being held without bond on capital murder charges.
Well, Jamia Harris was a 23-year-old mother from Birmingham who was enjoying life in Tuscaloosa alongside her cousin and her boyfriend. Today, her family still in shock.
Only on WVTM 13, our Rick Carley sits down with Jamia's mother and stepfather, who are trying to come to grips with this tragic loss.
How can a 23-year-old friend, a mother, a daughter be gone so soon? Jamia Harris's mother and stepfather have no answers. Just a day after they lost her, they want the world to know.
This happened, what? This is 3 days ago? This shit happened fucking 2 years ago. I remember when that happened. Wow. We're trying to, all right, let's just keep it pushing. Memphis.
But I thank Doretha Gardner and God for lending me the time that I had with my baby Zil, Cazarius.
A 13-year-old boy will never get the chance to graduate from middle school, grow up as his life was cut short in a deadly shooting in Batesville, Mississippi. This happened on Easter Sunday just before midnight on Everett and Claude Street.
And why? Because now 4 people are facing second-degree murder charges.
Why?
That head swivel.
Why you got like why? Because this is just us, man.
as his life was cut short in a deadly shooting in Batesville, Mississippi. This happened on Easter Sunday just before midnight on Everett and Claude Street.
And why? Because now 4
Keep asking
people
the
are
same
facing
question.
second-degree murder charges in connection to that shooting of this young man. Tonight, the teen's heartbroken family is breaking their silence, sharing memories, and of course, sharing their pain. They spoke only with Fox 13's Sierra Jordan.
And the reason why I called him Zia, he one in a zillion that can always put a smile on your face.
Kazarius Garner was just 13 years old. His godmother, who helped raise him since he was 4, told Fox 13 he was full of life and excited to graduate
that's
from the
little
8th
gremlin.
grade. But now, he's being remembered through tears and heartbreak.
Smiles, laughter. He always liked to dress. He loves to play beats. He always wants to flip.
Hey, he's just a kid, so you gotta get
what? Flip.
He's a kid, man. Flip like it's do backflips and shit. He a little kid, man. This is
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean.
I think the good memories are all with his family internally. Externally in society, he was probably a little gremlin.
Yeah, I'm sure he was a little gremlin. I mean, I'm sure he was on his way because he got shot. I mean, like if it was targeted, that'll tell a lot.
Laughter. He always liked to dress. He loves to play beats.
Rap beats.
He always wants to flip and dance. He just always was outgoing.
It was the day before Easter. Jordan says she was expecting to see her godson, but never got the chance. Instead, she received a devastating phone call that shattered everything Monday morning.
My sister called and told me that he had got shot. And I said, "Oh, is he okay?" She said, he's on life support.
Batesville police say the shooting happened on Everett Street and Claude Street around 11:40 p.m. Investigators say 7 people, including the 13-year-old and his mother, were inside an SUV when gunfire erupted. One of the bullets hit and killed the 13-year-old.
So it might not have been targeted, man. He might have just been 7 people were in the SUV. So it's probably some son turds in there, some son teens, and probably some grown son, her boyfriend or some shit.
And I said, "Oh, is he okay?" She said, he's on life support, but he's doing a little better.
Batesville police say the shooting was likely gang-related, but they do not believe Gardner was the intended target. His godmother says the senseless violence stole any chance he had to walk across the stage, chase his dreams, and live a full life.
You still here, and you will always be here, because I love you, and you're in my heart.
UA student Darius Miles.
Damn, that sucks, man. That sucks, man.
All right, well, new tonight, we're hearing from the sister of the woman whose candlelight vigil dissolved into chaos Saturday. Saturday's vigil in the medical district was supposed to honor 38-year-old Alicia Stringfellow. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. But people of all ages wound up running for their lives as someone started shooting into that crowd. In fact, a total of 5 people were shot, including a 14-year-old.
I just can't get over how these black people at these news stations, man, work with these white people every day. And every fucking crime is some goddamn fucking black person.
Because it's not all of them. So they're able to say, God, Jerry, the news was crazy today. And then they can go home and then complain about white people and white police.
Yeah,
because black people.
These type women that are news anchors, they're like HBCU graduates, underwater basket weaving degrees. these people hate white people, and they openly complain about white people all the time.
Yeah,
This
like
type
they'll
of woman,
they'll read the Sun's stories, but they'll be watching out for the microaggressions in the office from their white counterparts. And they'll be like, Jerry wanted to touch my hair today. My God, he's so racist.
They'll write a fake police report because they know sons will believe it anyways.
yeah, I just don't know how they do that. Like I just after a while, because I mean I get it like a week, but after like years of working there, and like goddamn hundreds, thousands of murders you done covered, and there's always some goddamn nigga, man. It's just goddamn, man. Like, and then white people, like, how the fuck do y'all like keep a straight face? How do y'all like not come to the realization that is we different, man? Like, and that is not poverty. It's not poverty. This is not poverty. This has nothing to do with poverty, man. A vigil's getting shot up, so the person gets killed. They have a vigil to commemorate the person. Somebody comes down there and sprays into the crowd. Not like trying to like assassinate a particular person, but just sprays into the crowd at the vigil. Women, children, grannies.
Like,
And then that's not a big deal.
Nowhere in Sun society is safe. A christening, a gender reveal, a baby shower, the baby's first birthday, school, high school, graduation, wedding, hospital, funeral, vigil, anniversary, the graveyard. Nowhere is safe in Sun society. Like, you are going to get shot at a life event.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
go
the
find
love
a
people too.
find a basement somewhere. It's your best bet.
Even the basement, home invasion, they're still coming.
Shout out to Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP, coming through once again. Shout out to Barry B, coming through once again. Make sure you guys support the channel on this Good Friday, man. We had one stream go down, man. He had to come right back. That's probably why the numbers is down, man, because the stream went down. I guess a lot of people probably thought that I wasn't coming back tonight. Make sure y'all support the channel. Let's see. These stories are so sad, and they're so recent. Like, they're so like fresh. Like, these are not like, I'm not like, this isn't like the month in review. This is the last few days in review. You know what I'm saying? Most times when I do this show, 99% of the time I'm doing stories from that day, the day before, and then maybe if we go to the city and we may go back a week or so. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, new tonight, we're hearing from the sister of the woman whose candlelight vigil dissolved into chaos Saturday. Saturday's vigil in the medical district was supposed to honor 38-year-old Alicia Stringfellow. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. But people of all ages wound up running for their lives as someone started shooting into that crowd. In fact, a total of 5 people were shot, including a 14-year-old. A 52-year-old man died. WRG's Shay Arthur is live tonight with the latest on the case. And Shay, what have you learned?
Great, Stephanie, this really is such a tragic case to tell you about tonight. And tonight, Memphis police are still looking for whoever is responsible for that shooting. Meanwhile, the woman we talked to says she has no idea why that group would be targeted. Tonight, after the crime scene has cleared, there's even more hurt.
It's pain on top of pain, and enough is enough.
Leftover candles still at the spot, meant to honor 38-year-old Alicia Stringfellow. Her sister tells me she recently died from a heart attack. Through tears, Alicia's sister, Sharia, talked to me on the phone.
She's still trying to process what happened, the moment someone started shooting at a group who had gathered for a candlelight vigil and balloon release at North Dunlap in Mosby.
This is a lot. It's right before you called me. I was just sitting here just praying and talking to God, just trying to figure out where I'm going to move. What's the next step to do?
Sharia says more than 100 people had gathered at the spot to not only remember Alicia, but to share a meal, raise money for her funeral expenses.
We gathered there at their location because we've grown up there. We've been there. Even our parents been there all their life.
When she heard the gunshots, she initially thought it was fireworks.
We just released the balloons and I was crying and it didn't register on me and someone had to pull me down to the ground and first thing I was thought of when I was on the ground was where my babies and I did not see them and I panicked so bad, kept trying to get up in the midst of them shooting.
Her children, ages 6 and 7, took off running.
I couldn't find them after the mass shooting because they ran so far all the way up the road.
They weren't physically injured, but are now living with the shock.
They are really traumatized.
Of the 5 people shot, she says 2 of her relatives were injured. Alicia's boyfriend, who was at the vigil grieving the loss of his partner.
Look at this shit. These little niggas is coming by spraying the crowd, hitting 40-year, 50-year-olds, man.
How many mass shootings has there been in the past week in Memphis that you've been covering out? I'm counting at least 3.
5. Yeah, 3 to 5. Just in Memphis.
You know what I was thinking, was as I was hearing this story, in the time that we've been with you, right, watching the news, right, there hasn't been many times, if any, of gliders just doing something like this, opening fire recklessly. Maybe once, unless I'm wrong.
You talking about other than the manifesto or something like that?
Yeah, I mean the manifesto shit, fine, we know that, but I'm talking about like what you looking at, you bitch ass nigga, fa.
No.
I mean maybe one time, if that, which is crazy to say.
I can't remember any, man, especially on gliders.
Yeah,
I can't remember glider thing like that, man.
I feel like we will remember that because it would stand out,
This seems to me like some dudes, like, because the woman, she wasn't murdered. The woman they were commemorating wasn't murdered, and she doesn't appear to be a gangbanger. So this just seems like maybe somebody in her family. It was 100 people there. Maybe they saw the op in that crowd. You know what I'm saying? Or they learned of the op's location in that crowd. And they would just shoot up. Because the way they are wicked, it's like, this, like, they'll shoot up the place to get at the op. Like, yeah, that was us. We shot up your fucking vigil. And I come back and get it in blood, bitch ass. Like, it's just like, they don't care about human life. They don't care about the other people there.
Like killing you is like, we did that. But just like causing the destruction itself is enough to, it's good enough.
Yeah. We fucked up your cookout. Like, all these white people want to be invited to the cookout. Well, some sons will just shoot up the cookout. Even if they don't hit the op, shooting up the cookout is cool because we fucked your cookout up. Like, terrorists, it's terrorists. They terrorizing each other for terrorizing everybody.
I was talking to an hombrito once, right? In the jail. And he shot up the McDonald's, right? And his logic was, he was telling me his logic was that McDonald's was in their hood, his gang neighborhood. So the enemies couldn't, like, they shouldn't have gone in there to their McDonald's, right? So he opened fire, and I remember in that case, the other hombrito who was with his kids had to like jump over the counter where the workers were to not die, that kind of reckless like engagement in particular, we don't really hear the gliders doing that,
This is sad, man.
also hurt.
He's still in the hospital fighting for his life.
She's now left with questions.
I don't have a clue why someone would do such a thing.
Sophie Gregg, last check, Memphis police believe that shooter was in a gray car. If you know anything, any small detail that could help investigators, call Crime Stoppers. You can remain totally anonymous. 901-528-CASH. For your news leader.
There were 100 people there. Nobody, none of them know anything. Nobody saw anything. Nobody is aware of I tweeted my location and my ops came up, or somebody was talking shit to somebody on social media and the ops pulled up. There's 100 people there. You shouldn't need the public.
It gotta suck, man, to be a detective in Blackistan. Where do you start? Where do you finish?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
You really wouldn't have to do that much,
10 o'clock. Do you know where?
You just, write down who's dead, and then that's pretty much it.
I was gonna say that too. Fisherman is right too. If you're that kind of detective,
you don't give a fuck.
Well, you can't get anywhere, so it's don't have to go to trial. Just be chilling.
Right. You just gotta, because I could only imagine they just document, nobody's talking, the end.
Honestly, every report would just be on this date, I went to the hood, they told me to go fuck myself. End of report.
Honestly, the way they would have to they solve crimes would have to be by chance. They look at the ballistic evidence, DNA, and they catch some YN somewhere. He has the same gun, or something like that. But yeah,
random, random. It's just good police work. People pulling people over. People, testing the guns, picking up all the shells at the scene. But that's basically.
And then looking at their social media, all that. It's just shit like that.
Yeah, you're not gonna solve no cases from people just cooperating.
Someone posted something about a crime they committed.
Yeah, it's just, man. And look at her ass again, smiling.
It is 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
From WREG in Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 10.
Heartbreaking new details tonight at 10. Memphis police say 2 young men were found shot dead. Witnesses say both were teens. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. This all took place on Mississippi Boulevard in South Lauderdale. But the big question of tonight is why. WREG's Brian Didlake was on the scene early today. And Brian, what have you learned?
Well, Greg, Stephanie, both residents and activists say right now this community is grieving and they're still dealing with this loss. But while they're grieving, they're also calling on city leaders to do something different, saying the violence seen this week shows no sign that crime is down.
Please, my baby. Get back.
A mother seen crying out for her child, the cold-hearted consequence of.
Even though she's a ghetto-eyed mess, that's sad, man. This is sad. To hear to come up on the scene and know that that's your progeny, your child is dead, and you hoping that it's not. That shit is sad. That shit is still sad, even though she's a creature from this planet, or this, she's a.
She built like a high school middle linebacker.
Proto-human is my favorite.
Yeah, it's just sad, man. It's still sad, man. It's still sad seeing these scenes, man. Still touches me.
Please, my baby. Get back. Where he at?
A mother seen crying out for her child, the cold-hearted consequence of gun violence in Memphis. Memphis police say 2 teenagers were found shot dead on scene at South Memphis's Mississippi Boulevard and South Lauderdale.
621. I got 2 people hit down here.
The whole community ought to be hurt.
Mary Trice with Right of Tears, a group that honors child victims of gun violence, claims both victims were seniors in high school. She says she spoke with one mom who had just brought her son's tuxedo for prom.
She bought the suit for prom. But really, she bought the suit for a funeral.
Woo!
That's how serious it is.
Jesus Christ. Damn. That's crazy, man. Hey.
Had just brought her son's tuxedo for prom.
She bought the suit for prom. But really, she bought the suit for a funeral. That's how serious it is out here. That's why I walked away. Because she got to dress her baby for the last time.
Memphis police not giving many details at this time, but WREG, the only crew to speak with an eyewitness, says he saw 3 men in ski masks firing shots, a nearby crowd scattering as chaos ensued.
And then one of the guys that was masked, he came back and started shooting this guy with an automatic. It was as if he had to have been 6 to 8, maybe even 10 shots.
That man only seeing one portion of the shooting.
655 Mississippi, they advised it was across the street at an apartment complex.
Another scene at Full Park at South City Apartments is littered with shell casings and tells the rest of this tragic story.
I had the crime down and we kindly putting up saying our kids dead. I had the city officials kindly saying the crime is down. We putting up saying the police respond.
Earlier this week, WRG reported 5 people died in 5 separate shootings in a matter of 7 hours. Community activist Cassio Montez said it's past time for city leaders.
We need our local correspondent, Memphis Mammy, here to fill us in on all this debauchery.
And this is just another fucking Tuesday.
I mean, and these are the most arrogant, annoying outside of this, right? Like, if you're not part of their community, like, you know,
They think, they think everyone wants to go to the cookout. It's another thing I've learned.
They think like, you know, they're from a rough neighborhood. They feel like they better than you because I'm from such and such. I'm from Memphis. I'm from South. I'm from such. You know, so they take pride in this stuff too, and to a degree, and they everybody's racist. Everybody's fucking like, it's just, oh my God, and it's so annoying, but this is their reality, man. This is their reality. It's got to be IQ, man. It's got to be DNA, man. There's no way this could be your reality and you can be worried about anything other than this. And I mean, like, now, don't get me wrong, there could be some people in your community worried about other things, but not everybody. Everybody is worried about something other than this in their community. Even the little programs and the little groups, activists, they're just grifters. You know what I'm saying? They ain't worried about this shit either.
You're saying they really don't give a fuck about it, Ak?
Yeah, like those programs, those are like fucking like that dude for Dominique Alexander. It's like those type of people. All of those people are criminals, ex-criminals. All of them.
That's the Sun startup.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to start a company, you start a fucking program.
Honestly, so you're saying that, you know, this is just another criminal operation. Those programs is a way to get money to pat their pockets. Is that true?
99% of the time, and even when it's not, it devolves into that. Let's just say some man comes home from jail, starts a program, and he has good intentions. I mean, you can't. He's not gonna keep it up for more than, like, you know what I'm saying? It's soon once that grant money start rolling in, you start figuring, oh, if I pay myself this and we cut back on that and we don't do this program, we don't do that, I can pay myself that and I can skim that and I can put that here and I can give my buddy a little no-show job. And I mean, like, you're giving these people grant money and shit every year and shit to do something that they know. See, here's the thing too. That nigga has just come home from prison after a life of living in the ghetto. He knows there's no solution. More than we know it's no solution. So why would he waste his time, you know what I'm saying, on the bullshit when he can just figure out different ways to siphon all the money out of the program, put in his pocket? Because there's no solution.
That's what the African leaders do. Like they take all the aid money and then like they use it to make themselves rich. They do it in both continents, both here and in Africa.
Yeah, those African leaders know that those people, all that aid money that they're getting, it still ain't gonna make a goddamn difference. Still gonna be a bunch of jungle bunnies running around the jungle. Just like the video I showed at the beginning, they got the stream taken down.
Yeah,
you could give that guy, those people who's running a bus, that little janky ass bus service, give them a bunch of money. You'd be better off throwing that money in the ocean.
Yeah, that just goes to show the patterns of behavior. You know what I mean? Like Sons have been here for 200 years and they're doing the same shit that they're doing in Africa. So like, it's pattern recognition.
Yeah, you better off throwing the money in the ocean.
Respond.
Well, they've been here longer than 200
reported
years, to be fair, Ike.
Yeah, we was the first one for
Well, 400 years, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Man, we been here for we the Indians. We Native American.
People died in 5 separate shootings in a matter of 7 hours. Community activist Cassio Montez says it's past time for city leaders to try something different.
We're going to keep this up. Excuse my French, but I'm fed up like everybody else saying they fed up. But we got to get out here and do the work. That's how we put a stop to it. Stop talking about it.
It takes a toll on everybody. But rest assured, we will make sure that we do everything possible to get those who committed this act.
Now, witnesses tell us there were at least 3 gunmen, and they believe there may have been others wounded. Memphis police have not sent any information about the suspects. But of course, if you have any information about this incident, you are encouraged to call Memphis police at Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH. But for now, we are live here in South Memphis. Brian Didlick for your news leader.
Okay, so let's see. See.
That story I sent you was interesting, with the sister. The queen that deleted the Patel.
Yeah.
The armed robbery.
Yeah. I gotta look.
Violence erupts overnight in Orange Mound as 2 shootings just blocks apart leaves 1 man injured and another dead. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for staying with us today. I'm Alex Coleman.
And I'm April Thompson. However, Memphis police say neither shooting is connected. WRAG's Cormitra Wilburn has the community's frustrations with the ongoing violence.
There was a cry for help near Park Avenue and Airways Boulevard early Friday morning. Memphis police say a man was shot on Saratoga Avenue and ran to the Save and Go gas station for help. According to a police report, a witness told officers that she heard the victim tell someone riding a scooter to get away from him because he, quote, set him up. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition. As officers secured that scene, they were pulled to another incident just blocks away on Ethel Street. MPD says a man was shot and killed outside a home. Crowds of people stood by, watching the investigation unfold.
We need some help on these streets, especially in Orange Mound, Tennessee.
This is the second deadly shooting to happen in this neighborhood within a week. Just 1 week ago today, Memphis police responded to another deadly shooting that happened at a home just a few doors down from the one that happened this morning. However, in that case, Memphis police were able to arrest and charge an individual with first-degree murder. Despite Friday morning's shootings happening around the same time and proximity, police say they are not connected. It's unclear if any of the recent shootings in the area are related. However, people living nearby say the shootings have connected their frustrations over the ongoing violence.
That's what our kids growing up seeing. Our 5 and 6 year old looking up to the 16, 17-year-old. And they already in jail.
Thursday, Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis spoke about new tools and initiatives her officers are using to fight crime. These efforts include a new command center in downtown Memphis, an expanded homicide unit, a new domestic violence unit, the use of drones, and canine units that will soon have gun detection capabilities. However,
hey, I mean, other than bringing the Scorpion Squad back, they are trying. I mean, look. That command center, they got one of these in DC. That shit is amazing, man. Like
they need Shot Spotter.
They got that. They got all that. They already had that. They watch the whole city from this shit. Like they can watch everything. It's like surveillance state.
What they really need is a miracle.
I'm telling you, man. They trying everything, man. It's nothing you can do with sons, man. There's nothing you can do. Your son's gonna start getting mad, and here's the thing: as the crime doesn't stop, the kids are gonna get out of school soon. If you're having problems now, a rise in crime before the kids get out of school, oh my God! As soon as they get out of school for the summer, oh. This place is going to be a fucking hellhole.
Include a new command center in downtown Memphis, an expanded homicide unit, a new domestic violence unit, the use of drones, and canine units that will soon have gun detection capabilities. However, some people we spoke to say they're not convinced.
They don't care about us here, Mike.
Reporting for your news leader from Orange Mound.
They don't care. And then some nigga gets on the news and says they don't care about us.
Right. It's too much, man. It's like a vicious cycle, you know?
But it's like when you take action, they complain, oh, they're over policing us, oh, police brutality. They're keeping us down by throwing us in prison. I'm like, you can't win with these fucking people. If you could even call them people.
I was reading the paper today, and apparently the Chicago police, they're trying to limit traffic stops. So it reminds me of Philly. And we know what comes next. And then we know what comes after that. The same people that were advocating for all these limitations are going to be wondering, why is crime so high? What's going on?
Yeah. Why are some men driving so crazy all of a sudden in the city? Like why is it like exponentially more dangerous on the roads?
Yeah, and they'll somehow never connect the dots.
Nope.
Before I started watching Ock Nation, there's a crime I never knew happened, and that was rolling gun battles on the freeway.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because if you don't live around sons, you don't see those, and it don't have to be a lot of sons. Just like you don't live around no sons, right? KB, like what, 1-2%?
No, I don't live around any sons, but I spend time.
Yeah.
It sounds boring.
If you get the 5%, you'll start seeing roller gun battle.
Yeah. It sounds kind of boring, KB.
Yeah.
How do you guys
first at 5
keep yourself entertained with no
some
sons?
spice in life, man?
Yeah, like what does that look like, KB? Like, how do you guys? Sounds kind of boring. How does that look?
Yeah, it's not a middle-aged.
We all know.
That's the problem, calling life without sun interference boring. I know you're being sarcastic, Wicked, but
Wicked never.
It is. I mean, if you think about it, like literally, like life is like it's like the 50s and shit. It's like Andy Griffin and shit.
No bullshit.
An episode of Andy Griffin.
The birds sing, no gunshots in the background. Pick your kids up, drop them at school, go to work. Oh, hi Bob, how's your day? It's fine. Go back home, food, go to sleep, maybe watch something, and you had a nice day.
Yeah, like do you even need cops at that point? You know?
Yeah, you're gonna definitely need to just to downsize your police department.
Your courts, downsize.
Yeah,
your courts.
maybe just the teenagers, stayed out of the beach past curfew, and the police had to round them up. Oh, go home. no issue.
Yeah, and they actually leave. Like when they hear
Exactly.
sirens in the distance, they start.
I'll talk to your parents if you don't leave in 5 minutes.
Hey, Pantheon, I heard something. I heard with all this shit going on in Britain that they're going to start arming all British cops now.
Is that so?
It's probably not. I mean, that always comes up. Kind of, it flares up every few years. But like, we don't want them armed.
They're going to have to be at some point.
Possibly, but for the time being, it's just a recurring argument.
They're holding it off to the last minute.
We all know that violent crime is the biggest issue facing our city, but this week may have been one of the worst in recent memory. Tonight, Fox 13 is breaking down the shootings and the numbers to show why. I'm Daryl Green.
And I'm Darcy Thomas. Let's take you through some of these cases. Late this afternoon, Fox 13 learned the 2 people shot and killed yesterday near Booker T. Washington High School were students at the school. The shootings around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon forced the school into lockdown and added to an already growing list of violent crime in Memphis.
Is this a school shooting? The kids were shot like right in front of the school. But that doesn't count as a school shooting. Right? But that is still a fucking school shooting. 2 students were shot and killed right in front of the school during school hours. That's a fucking school shooting.
Yeah, and it's amazing how common this is. This same scenario.
Yeah, they were killed, and they're dead. You got 2 dead kids laying out in front of the school, and it's not even. CNN would never even think for a second to break from their regular coverage to cover that.
I mean, look, if you really objectively just think about it, isolate this incident, it's horrendous. Kids coming out of school, a learning environment, and they're just murdered. It's terrifying. But it's really
Washington High School
were so common.
This is in Blackliston.
Students at the school. The shootings around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon forced the school into lockdown and added to an already growing list of violent crime in Memphis over this past week.
And that violence continued overnight. Memphis police responded to 2 separate shootings in Orange Mound. Investigators say one man was critically injured on Saratoga Avenue, another killed on Ethel Street.
At least 6 people were shot, 4 killed in Frazier since Tuesday night.
And a deadly mass.
These are neighborhoods. Orange Mound is a neighborhood. Frazier is a neighborhood. Their neighborhoods each have more shootings than probably all of white America. More homicides than all of white America. These are neighborhoods in the city. Most cities, I know where my city, we had like 100, maybe 70 neighborhoods, right? 70 literal defined neighborhoods. In the Chicago probably got more than that, right? But
I'm sorry, what was that?
How many neighborhoods does Chicago have?
I think they said 70 neighborhoods.
Yeah, the city gonna have about 70 neighborhoods, right? So it's think about that. They don't even cover. They're not talking about the city. They're talking about certain neighborhoods. You have fucking multiple homicides and shootings every week.
Investigators say one man was critically injured on Saratoga Avenue, another killed on Ethel Street.
At least 6 people were shot, 4 killed in Frazier since Tuesday night.
And a deadly mass shooting at a candlelight vigil Saturday night left 1 man dead and 4 others injured, including a 14-year-old boy. Memphis police say it's time for the violence to end.
My career being on the job, has been a lot of violence here in Memphis. We need to curtail it.
Enough is enough in this city. It's time that the citizens know that this is not going to be tolerated.
We need your help. Community, we need your help. In order for us to solve this crime, the Memphis Police Department need you.
Yes. Fox 13 Investigates went through our archives for the last 7 days. Since last Friday night through this morning, we found these 20.
Jesus.
What would your show be about if the Sun community actually did what these delusional cops are claiming? Would we just get on here and talk about like food and shit? Who's got the best $5 pizza?
The innovations in knitting.
Jesus Christ. Look at this though. Like it's
Most
not
comfortable nap positions?
you can't say like, okay, it's a
for
certain
Ak
area.
especially.
It's the entire city. It's everywhere. The south side.
You know, I almost went and looked at a truck a while back in Memphis, and I was like, nah.
A truck?
You looked at a what?
A truck. There was a
Oh.
truck up there I wanted to get.
Was the Sun Man selling it?
Like, yeah. And I was like, nah.
Hell no. Fuck. Look at that, man. That shit is just insane, man.
6 shootings reported in Memphis and Shelby County.
It represents 36 people shot, 15 of those people killed in 1 week's time. And it does not include other reports of shootings where no victims were found.
Fox 13 continues our live team coverage of this issue tonight. Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson is in South Memphis right now, getting reaction from a mentor to one of the students killed yesterday.
But first, Fox 13's Martin Staunton joins us live in Raleigh. Martin, you were there earlier to really take the concerns of the community to the mayor and the police chief.
Yes, I was, Darcy. And Chief C.J. Davis says that her department has investigated 28 homicides in April, and there are still 5 days left to go in this month. And she and both the mayor talked about the role that children are playing in all of this.
As I think about the last couple of weeks, we've seen far too much violence in our city, and it has been completely unacceptable, heartbreaking to see young people losing their lives senselessly.
In just the past week, a seemingly endless string of violence. At least 15 people killed and 20 more hurt in more than 24 shootings in Memphis and Shelby County.
Think about that.
Many of the victims and alleged
Think about what the newscaster and the mayor said, right? There's too much violence going on. And also, don't lock up our brothers. Don't arrest our kings. How does that make sense?
And when you arrest them, be very gentle, or we're gonna fucking burn the city down.
Right. Be
By
gentle
arrest
with
them,
our
we
killers.
mean give them money and a statue.
And when you arrest them, he didn't do nothing.
And the police are just begging the community to tell them something, but they won't tell them anything.
Because they're institutionally racist.
I know one thing, this fat white woman right here is about to she's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
She's gonna chase these gunmen down.
These young people is somebody's son, it's somebody's nephew, somebody's cousin, it's some OG in the neighborhood who know these young folks that need to be speaking some life into them and changing the course of their trajectory.
Police Chief C.J. Davis said it's hard for most people to wrap their minds around the amount of gun violence right now.
We're appealing to the community to help us. Parents, get your children.
Come get your kids.
That was the C.J. Davis that came out of me. Get your children. If you want life and if you love your children, help them stay alive by paying attention to them, just like the mayor said. Either they will die to gun violence or they will end their lives in jail. Mayor Paul Young shared an idea of something simple parents can do to help.
For the parents, the guardians, if you see a young person walking out of your household with a hoodie on when it's hot outside, with a backpack on, and it's not a school day, you need to ask some questions. You need to check the backpack. You doing that check is going to save their life.
And the mayor, chief, and other leaders here, did more than just talk about the violence. They offered one possible solution. Coming up at 6, we're going to take a closer look at a bill that could soon become law that could actually help cut down on the businesses that give crime a place to fester. And you at home could be.
Wow, they're going to punish the businesses with.
We're going to create
compensated.
food
We'll share those
deserts
details
and
coming.
then complain about those.
Wow.
Stay tuned next week where we do the same retarded shit.
Right. Tomorrow. Stay tuned tomorrow.
No. Darcy?
That is Fox 13's Martin Staunton reporting live tonight. Thank you so much, Martin.
When they put the rest in peace sign behind his name and his picture. And all I could think about when he was a little boy coming in the barbershop, he used to come here all the time.
A South Memphis barber says this one hurts. That's Carlos Miles. He says from infancy, he mentored a 17-year-old who was shot to death yesterday near the intersection of South Lauderdale and Mississippi, very near Booker T. Washington High School. That teen, one of the 2 students shot and killed near the school yesterday. Let's go to Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson in South Memphis Live in search of solutions. Daniel, Miles is far more than a barber here. He's looked up to as an authority figure in that area.
Yeah, Daryl, you know it. The people at home know it. The barbershop has been long looked at as the nucleus of neighborhoods in inner city areas. This barbershop is no different. You can see someone there getting their hair cut. Oftentimes, people in that chair, be they older or young people, they will confide and listen to their barbers. Well, Carlos Miles told me that he had mentored that teen shot and killed yesterday. He says the 17-year-old's father just got out of the hospital yesterday. Miles shared this video of him cutting the boy's hair a while back. Now, Miles and community activist Frank Gotti say after this rash of shootings, we first will have to turn to God. He says that's the number one solution. Second, they say everyone is going to have to put skin in the game and act as mentors did back in the old days. They say teens want attention. And if the bad actors are offering to give them attention, that's who they'll turn to.
Let me tell you about a 13, 14, 15-year-old. The only thing they want is a hug. They be want to know somebody looking out for them. If you just go up to them something.
You heard that?
Encourage them. Like for real.
Wow.
You guys
all they want is a hug.
That was deep as fuck.
So who knew that these violent song words, all they wanted was a hug?
Yeah, man. I've been walking right by him, and if I'd known that, I'd be giving out hugs, man.
He's not giving him a hug, though.
Hell no. No fucking hug. They want to hug.
He's locking his door.
I will say this though, they would have liked the hugs from their mama and their daddy. Yeah, they got daddy and mommy. They have mommy and daddy issues out the wazoo. They hate their fucking mothers. They hate their fathers, and they're fucking psychopaths. You got low IQ psychopaths who hate their mothers and hate their fathers.
I mean, mommy and daddy issues, they should take a number, right? But just the notion that these violent, reckless, impulsive motherfuckers just want to hug. Like, look, there is no solution, man. Saying shit like that.
The hug they wanted was that their daddy, their father cared about them in a way that was they didn't feel a sense of abandonment for their father, and that their mother wasn't just a bad steward, and they resent their mother. Black boys love their mothers, but they also resent them. Many of them resent them too.
Do you think that has an impact on their murder rates?
Yeah.
Do you think that influenced their future murder rates as adults?
Yeah, definitely. Like, because you gotta understand, when you resent your mother or you hate your mother, you're gonna hate the women. You're gonna hate all the women that you come in contact with. Because it makes you hate women. So you're gonna you're gonna be violent towards women to a degree too.
Yeah.
But if you hate if your father abandoned you, You know what I'm saying? And it's not the type of abandonment like you can like see. It's almost like it's like a spirit of abandonment because he ain't there. You know what I'm saying? All these little boys every psychological thing trope you can think of from psychology school, these little sun turds on the streets got it, and they have very low IQs, and they're high, and they're listening to rap music.
Yeah, they listen to
So how does
murder
that
music.
explain the alarming the alarming rates of violence against the elderly? Is there anything that explains that? Because they do
They're
seem
easy.
to.
They're
It's an
vulnerable.
outlet. It's
Well, no, I get that.
the
I get that
children
they're
and
easy
elderly are
targets,
young.
but does that like that resentment? Is there any? What do you think about that?
They don't care. They don't respect older people. They don't respect older people because they don't respect their parents. They got mommy and daddy issues. They don't respect their parents. They don't respect. The neighborhood is broken down so much to where it's like, yo, the OGs, the dudes that they look up to are 20. Dudes they look up to are 20. And the licks they hit are on soft targets. So it's like, okay, what's the softest target? Some old lady getting in her fucking car at the grocery store. Just go push her down. You don't even have to fucking shoot her or pistol whip her. Just push her down and take her keys and drive off. This is soft
You got
target.
people in the back.
Old people are soft targets.
I still think even if this for the men that aren't in jail, because I mean the number would be astronomical, but I still think that women, especially if there's an absentee father, you just go and drop the child off, especially once they hit the 10 and 11. And you know where the man is, you go and drop the child off, especially if it's a boy, drop them off with the father. So you're avoiding the resentment of your child. And you're saying, look, you've been giving me hell for the past few years about your father, your father. Here he is, the father to the son. I'm not obstructing you from seeing your son. The two of you go have a good time, and I'll stay with my daughters.
Wait, but Panthea, I don't think you understand that in a lot of cases that would be considered abuse. You can't leave your kid with that man.
No, but you can. Why can't you?
Because the man is dangerous.
The courts don't like it.
But at some point, it's not your problem.
Well, it's going to be your problem when your kid ends up dead or abused.
But that's not your problem.
No, it's not my problem directly. I know that, but you get what I'm saying, Chief?
No, I'm saying that as a mother, when you then start having a 13-year-old who is disrespecting you, hates you, then becomes bigger than you, and even just one semblance of violence from that child can put you in hospital. And a lot of it comes down to them feeling abandoned by their father, and their father is
But
not
you had a
in jail.
baby with George Floyd, though. If you had a baby with George Floyd, like
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, but yeah.
You're lucky if he's on the streets. Like, let's just say that the father happens to not be in prison, right? Or he happens to not be in a halfway house or a shelter or something like that, right? And he has he isn't living with another woman and her children by another guy, but he has his own place, right? Which is very rare that Boonshika's baby daddy is gonna have his own place. You know, when the kid's a teenager. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare. But let's say he does, right? Let's just say he does, right? That kid, you send him to his father, and he goes and he hangs out with his father a few times. The father gonna hang out with him. They're gonna do some things. They may do some fun stuff, and the father is an ex, street guy. So the father sees the kid doing stuff. He might preach to him and stuff. Yeah, man, don't do this, don't do that. But
yeah,
he's not going to be. He's not going to immerse himself in that child's life because he's still trying to get pussy. He's still trying to get laid, but he's still trying to go to the club. He's still trying to.
That's no longer my problem. That's That's why should, because what happens is the woman keeps going, and there are certain things that obviously men need to carry on to boys that women cannot do for boys. And it's this whole resentment, the outlet they need of fighting or violence or whatever. Women can't provide that. The boys are frustrated with their mothers and sisters, and there's just animosity within that whole household. And meanwhile, I need to give grace to my baby daddy because he's still trying to figure his life out at 45. Absolutely not. Go take care of your son.
Yeah, but you married, you had a baby with George Floyd. He's always was George Floyd.
No,
it ain't like
absolutely.
he just became George Floyd after you like he fucked you and I'm Floyd. Floyd. Like no, he was Floyd when you were dating him. He was Floyd when you smiled the first time he came up to you with that weak ass game. He was Floyd when he, you know what I'm saying, when he fucked your sister. He was Floyd when he, fucked all your friends and shit. He was Floyd when he, I mean, like.
I think I get it, Ak. But I'm saying that after a certain point, as
I can't believe you said
it's not your
smash on
problem.
George Floyd.
Pantheon, I just want to say this. Like, you want to blame the father for not being in his life, and you're saying, oh, that's not my problem, all that. But ultimately comes down to the mother deciding to have a kid with him in the first place. She could have gotten
both sides are equally responsible. But
not really, because it's the woman who makes the choice to fuck. Women are the gatekeepers in terms of getting access to sex.
Motherhood and reproduction. They can decide whether to bring a child up. Yes, I know, but I'm saying that once the child is, especially boys, you can see the behavior once they start 8 or 9. So once they get into double digits, the issue is I'm a terrible mother because you love your father and you've never seen him and he was so much better than me as a parent. He lives in this state. In your summer holiday, we're transferring your school and you are going to live with him. Go live with him.
They do that sometimes.
That would be hilarious.
Like,
I'm scared to see that
what's
TV
the
show.
issue?
Can you imagine that acting like in Mass? What she just said? How hilarious that was. It would be. I think it'd be worse. I think the murder rate would
it'll be worse.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Be less taken care of. The child will be less taken care of because the woman has all the resources from the government. The dad wouldn't have the resources from the government. Because here's the thing: the mom can't transfer the resources from the government because that's just one of her children. She's got 4 kids by 3 different guys, so she's just letting one of them go stay with their daddy. She got to keep the resources for the other 3 that still live with her.
She can get rid of all of them.
And if he's running the streets, then he's going to bring the kid in on it, and the kid's going to learn how to be a scumbag.
But that's not her problem. What I'm saying is
talking about the murder rate.
The mother never wins. If they stay, they're a useless parent. They're a bad steward. The father was never there. There was never any male interaction with them. If they don't stay, they're still a bad mother. They abandoned their child. They left them with the father.
Right.
It's a
and that's why they have Mother's Day, and that's why they have Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is a big deal.
Father's Day was the mother's representing.
I mean, being a
mother. I'm saying if it's a lose-lose situation, do something for self-preservation for yourself as a mother, and leave that child with the father.
But you sound bitter and resentful that you sound bitter and resentful that you have that you have that the role of being a woman, of a mother. Like the mother is not like something that the father is opting out on. There's only one mother. There's only one mother that can be the mother. Like, have you ever watched documentaries on animals and shit, like fucking cheetah mom or goddamn mongoose mom? Mom is a universal thing of all animals. Like any animal you see was in some other animal's stomach at some time. It was drinking milk from, if it's a mammal, a squirrel. Like when you see a squirrel, that squirrel was in a nest full of little squirrels. His mother was bringing nuts back to the fucking nest, feeding them milk. And then one day she said, "Get the fuck on and go get your own nuts." Being a mother is not like something that's unique to human beings. It's just it's it's the essence of life. So you guys
You're
being
telling
a
me the
mom
sky
is
is
not
blue.
something that you
Of
can
course I
opt
know
out
that.
on. You know what I'm saying? It's something you can't opt out on. It's not something you can opt out on. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of women are resentful, like that they have to be a mom, like working mom. I'm working mom. I'm doing this. Yo, you're the mom. There's no other way a thing can be born.
No,
Every
other.
species.
There's no other way, but we're talking about the raising of said child. That
Right,
if
but you're
there's
like, well, I
elements
should
where
just I should just opt out. No. Listen, everything that comes down on the mom is part of being a mom.
Yes, that's not just what I'm saying. I'm saying that when your son, especially, because I really haven't mentioned daughters, when your son is getting into double digits and there's excess of energy, and if you haven't had a great relationship with the father, and you are now spotting that the child is starting to have major daddy issues because they want that element of fatherhood, that they should go and spend time with the father a long period of time.
That's when we talk about, like, at that point women have to somehow think, okay, pre-think, like, okay, before I have children, let me and I know it's hard. I know it's not easy.
Yes.
It's so hard because I mean, even so many men switch up. Even from
and the
once,
pickings is
and
small.
they'll say, "Oh, I want you to have my baby," and then once the woman gets even from you hear delivery stories, which the man has a PlayStation or whatever, whilst the woman is pushing out their child. So and that's with any human being. Human beings can change for any circumstance. So it's very hard to say, "Oh, you should have known the man before you had a child." Like, that's a life-altering event that you're not going to know.
I got you on that, but you could still, like out of 100 sisters, right? Let's just take sisters, right? Because this is dealing with sisters. Out of 100 sisters, how many of them you think planned their pregnancy?
Oh, hardly any, because the community is set up in the just have a child. There's not even any focus on the relationship
Okay,
between the parents.
so you say none of them planned their pregnancy. How many out of 100 sisters? How many of them you think vetted their partner for what type of father he would be?
As I would say, assumption. Number one, oh, he's a good boyfriend to me. He'll be a great father. So there's assumption, and then number two, hope. It's a hope and a prayer.
Yeah, vetted 0.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They didn't. There's assumptions, hopes, and prayers.
Yeah, it's definitely a hope and prayer. Because with my baby mother, she didn't tell me 5 months later. So some
Till
bullshit.
she was 5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let me just say this.
Wow.
And if you guys are enjoying the conversation, enjoying the show, please support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. We haven't gotten any donations or support in over 2 hours. If you guys could support the channel, support these streams. We had one stream taken down. We came back for you guys. If you guys could support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, and Super Chat, definitely hit the like button as well. Share this stream. But yeah, let me finish. Let me see what these Negroes talking about, man, on this thing, man.
Let them kids, we'll feed them. Then we'll let them go play basketball, run outside, do whatever they want to do for like about 2 hours. But then we were getting closer to them, and they were getting comfortable with us. You know what I'm saying? As a child get comfortable with you, he gonna learn how to talk to you. He gonna want to come and talk to you about his problem. You know what I'm saying? And when he feel like he in a sticky situation, you're gonna be the person he called.
Yeah, Carlos Miles, he uses his barbershop as a place to talk to youngsters. He says they trust him. But again, he says he needs help. Frank Gotti, you all know him. He runs the Put the Guns Down organization in the Greenlaw area. Back out here live, you can see the owner of the barbershop, Carlos Miles. He is sweeping there. Now, coming up at 6. I brought up what a lot of you are probably thinking. A lot of people are scared to go up to these 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. I'll tell you what these men say about that. Also, coming up at 6, these men, Gotti as well as Miles here, are getting calls in the middle of the night from mothers crying over their young sons. We'll tell you about those calls coming up. DG.
Yeah, look forward to that, Daniel, because that's the kind of perspective we need on this story. This is not just about the violence. This is about the survival of a community.
Huh?
Yeah, and that's what they say. They,
What a
if
spin.
you heard in the last piece, they say C.J. Davis, Paul Young, they can't do it alone. This is going to have to come from people in the community, people in homes, parents, guardians, grandmothers. We all need skin in the game.
Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson live. Thank you, Daniel.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
From WREG in Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 10.
About 100 people from across Memphis came together tonight hoping to curb crime, including the man known for grit and grind on the basketball court. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Memphis Grizzlies great Tony Allen joined others tonight at the Safer Memphis 365 event. WREG's Brian Dittlake joins us live downtown. And Brian, you attended the meeting. How does this group plan to curb crime?
Stephanie, Greg, the people came from different groups and organizations around the city. They hope to use their collective resources to weed out some of the violence.
A role Safer Memphis 365 hopes people take on. A role Safer Memphis 365 hopes people take on. The goal, reducing crime in the Memphis area. The City of Memphis Joint Office of Neighborhood and Safety Management meeting the day after 5 people died in 5 different shootings in the span of 7 hours. Joining the group, the Grind Father, Tony Allen, using his celebrity to push for safer streets.
Once we can tackle, bring about real change, real tangible solutions.
Organizations like 901 Block Squad leading the charge in breakout sessions targeting gang and group violence.
We talked about 5 strategic ways in which we can interrupt the gang and group violence with our young people. And that's being mentors, being available, having more things for them to do, provide more jobs and things of that nature.
The reality is that shows us that only 9.6% of homicide suspects are those youth under the age of 18.
Organizers taking extra time to tackle myths with city data on youth crime.
Youth may be driving property crimes, but not necessarily your violent crimes. And so we want to make sure that everyone just understands a level playing field of like, if you're tackling youth crime and it's only 10% of your crime, then you've only tackled 10% of your crime.
Nonprofits like Made Up Memphis attended the meeting.
How will you take what you've learned here back to your own organization?
Trainings, that there is trainings after that the county does to help nonprofits be a little bit more consistent and keeping so much turnover away, as well as learning how to really work with others.
Rachel Walker says that's the key moving forward, working with others to make Memphis safer 365 days a year.
Some of the outcomes from working together is more resources where nonprofits or government agencies and schools can really come together and build the trustworthiness back in the community so we can start to get people out and be more proactive than reactive.
Now, organizers say there are plenty more events for folks to come to who want to make a difference in their community. We have more about that on our website at WREG.com. Just click on this story on our website. But for now, we are live in downtown Memphis. Brian Dittlake for your news leader, WREG, News Channel 3.
All right, it takes a village.
So they saying that youth crime only counts for 10% of the crime in the city. So, I mean,
I'm sure she didn't pull that statistic out of her fucking fat ass.
Tony Allen will save us.
How do they realize this is not working? Like, when does it register? It's not comprehending.
Never.
It doesn't. They don't have the concept of.
There's nothing. Like, what else can they say at this point? There's just nothing. With this horse, it's like beating a dead horse. This horse is like flattened. This horse is a stain in the pavement at this point.
It's a skeleton at this point. Yeah.
The dead horse is just dust.
Those are dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They can't go back on it because if they know there's no solutions, they're going to realize, oh, we can't live around gliders. They're going to get tired of us. You know what I mean? They need to keep
But I think they believe that shit works. I think they believe in solutions. You know?
If there's think about it, if there's no solution, right? What's the point of going forward? Like they just keep fighting the good fight because there's people getting paid to fight the fight. So
Yeah,
the
it's an
people
economy for
getting
sure.
the people getting paid, the police department,
The courts, the jails,
everybody's getting paid. Those are jobs. There's people
everyone's
to
eating.
school. Yeah, I mean, and so
The
it's like
interrupters.
they're just showing up to work every day.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's playing their part. You know, the brothers are playing their part. You know?
Yeah. And the brothers are awful. Their culture is just awful.
I just didn't like I don't like the we need resources part. As someone who just paid a fuck ton in taxes, really not a fan of the resources element of the whole
Yeah.
task force.
And you know, the people that have the notion that the gliders want crime in Blackistan because it's an economy. Shut up, motherfucker. Don't nobody want your kids robbing everybody, bro.
It's an economy for their leaders. It's how their leaders keep relevance. Is by the Sun leaders keep their relevance and their prestige and whatever by the problems in the Sun community. They're saying, "Oh, the gliders are keeping us down." Why would the gliders want to keep you down so they could spend more of their tax money on things where we could be spending it on other stuff that benefits humanity as a whole?
Right.
And another thing you guys got to stop doing is like listening when some people say stuff and you take it like it's a valid thing to like argue about, or you know what I'm saying, like it's a valid thing to like you got to ignore a lot of sun babble, a lot of the things, thoughts and gibberish coming out of the Sun community. Most gliders that are smart just ignore it.
But here's the thing, it's like they can't just ignore it because there's that whole like most of most of the gliders are still caught by the spell of the R word. You know what I mean? If that shit went away, like gliders are a force to be reckoned with. But that's what I'm saying. The gliders don't know that themselves.
Right.
Don't you
but
think so?
what I'm saying is that yes, you do got to understand that you're going to be called racist regardless, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, just waking up, you're going to be called racist. And there's enough social media out now where gliders are engaging with each other and they're seeing it in real time. They're seeing like the Austin Metcalf situation. They're seeing the Shedeur Sanders situation. They're seeing it in real time. If you gliders can't figure it out now, I can understand a glider back in the 80s, or something like that, where it's just like, you just know the gliders in your personal life. Now millions of gliders just from Twitter, millions of gliders from YouTube.
But here's the thing. How do you translate? I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is a very important point I got to add. Important question I got to ask. How do you translate that into real life action? And that's the thing when, gliders start translating it into real life action, such as small protests, they're going to get shut down.
Your tax dollars are going to be spent on sons if you live in the city, right?
Yeah.
Your tax dollars are going to be spent on sons. That's just so that's a wash. If you create your own little glider enclave, and you create your own little whatever personal like city council or whatever, or your little area, no low income housing, no low income housing, no none of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That'll never be allowed by the government.
Nothing that attracts sons. Nothing that amenities like a subway station. Like if there's a city near there and they want to propose a subway station in your suburb, no subway station out here. We don't want a subway station. We don't want low income housing. We don't want like even the school, they may say the school system needs to be diversified. No, we're not diversifying our school system.
But people have tried that in the 60s and the 70s, and there were protests on that shit. There were clips shown on your channel of Boston where the gliders were fighting tooth and nail. They were attacking the school buses and all that.
I got that, but you gotta keep doing it.
You gotta ignore that. Yeah, well, first off, you gotta stop with all the defeatist talk that you're spitting out right now. Like we can't, man. Like that, you already lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think ignoring Sun Men is the best approach.
I'm saying,
like if you run into one, just ignore them.
I'm saying there are solutions, but they're not very civil at this point in time.
Yeah, and that's just the reality. You just have to accept it and stop running from it.
Though I don't agree with that. I think a simple solution is incarcerate people to the letter of the law.
Yeah, you got to be tough on crime.
Yeah, but I mean that's a form of violence too, though, because the Suns are gonna. But the Suns are gonna have a problem with it, and they're gonna get violent, and then you're gonna have to meet that level of violence. That's all that's gonna have to happen. There's going to be violence.
Well, if that's the case, I'm referring more to enforcing the law to the letter.
Yeah, to the letter. Yeah, you have to be tough on crime if you're gonna. If gliders are going to live around Suns, they have to be tough on crime. Once gliders give an inch on crime with Suns, everything breaks down. So it's like that's why I said, like, if you have your little enclaves, like if you have your little areas, because
Suns are going to want to go over there anyway because they're gliders over there.
One thing about it, we're always gonna wherever we go, whenever we come around, y'all are gonna leave, right? And then whenever y'all come around, we're gonna leave because we're gonna get priced out. We leave for different reasons. Y'all leave because of safety and quality of life. We leave because we get priced out. So we're always gonna be segregated to some degree. It's just when y'all get y'all little enclave, y'all start, okay, well, you're gonna get soft on crime, and then now your fucking wife can't fucking leave the house after 8 o'clock, and you're wondering why. Well, it's because you voted for Proposition 427 that said Sunmen, can't be harassed. You can't pull over Sunmen, or you can't, or da 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 da, whatever the fuck they're crying about, right? And it's always a minority too. That's another thing too. Very few of these areas are the Suns the majority. Like even in New York City, even in Chicago, the Suns are 30% or 27% or
30.
Or yeah, it's like everywhere y'all are the majority.
Here in Philly, it's 40%,
but not even Sunman, right? Not even just criminals, right? Now we know it's gonna be a lot of Sunman. That's a given. But not even like just criminals. Punish criminals accordingly.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about Sun culture, the Sun culture and the crime. The sons that aren't criminals, they are the father, the son, the brother, or the sister of the criminal.
Uncle.
They're the harbor of the criminal. They're the you know what I'm saying? They're part of the culture. They're the musician that sings the song, the criminal song. You can't really separate it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Suns, if gliders, their best bet is segregation where they can find it. Like if they can find an area where there's no, like I'm seeing it in my city. Like in my city, where I'm seeing the Suns is starting to become more and more, and over the years, the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans and whatnot. The Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans, they're bearable. Like you can live around them because they'll fix cars. They spend a lot of time fixing stuff and building houses.
They cut their grass. Yeah, they cut their grass.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, they and their gangs are, you know what I'm saying,
violent towards each other.
Yeah, exactly. More structured and things like that. Whereas the Suns, it's like, the Suns,
it's chaotic.
they take up so much space, right? Because they use public transportation. They hang outside. You know what I'm saying? They hang on, you know what I'm saying? They hang outside. So it's like you see them. You know what I mean? They walk back and forth to the smoke shop 10 times a day. You know what I'm saying? They're just out there. So it's like and then when they interact with each other, they're very as much as they complain about everybody being racist and white people being
They're very
racist
loud and
and shit,
gregarious when they talk to each
they're
other. They speak passionately.
yeah, but no, they're very hostile towards each other. Like they don't like each other. Sons don't speak. Listen, it's the darndest thing. When I go somewhere, the white people, I'll see a white guy in the store. He's chatting up the black guy or whatever, or a white guy say, "Hey, to you or something, hold the door for me." Niggas, they don't speak to each other. The niggas in these towns that come with the Gucci belts and the Air Jordans and shit, you know what I'm saying, and the Chargers, they don't speak to each other. They don't like each other. They're wary of each other. They don't trust each other. The sons are not friendly to each other. They don't like each other. Some men don't like each other. There's no brotherhood. There's nothing like that. So it's like it's good.
I'm sorry. I just want to cut you off because like I got to make this point. Going off of what you were saying, and what you're saying, Fisherman, is like, yeah, you can't be defeatist or something. But the thing here is the biggest enemy of the gliders is the state. They want to say this is a white supremacist society or glider supremacist society, but all the policies are negative against gliders. Like, you know, if it wasn't for the state getting in the way, and like we had the right to freedom of association, like, you know, it's mostly state policy, such as like, you know, the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act and like, you know, affirmative action, DEI, all that other shit. Like, you know, it was Obama who was bringing in all the Somalis in Minnesota and all that. Like, I think the glider's biggest enemy is the state. But we have to find.
And yourselves.
Fisherman, what do you think?
I think it's just more of the same defeatist shit. Like, there's huge percentage of gliders in the state that if they just had the right mentality, and none of this would really be that hard to fix.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not speaking up, and that's what I'm saying. They're enabling those state actions. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, they have to.
Yeah, and if you just stop, then it stops. Like, it's you're doing this neurotic glider thing where you're making it more complicated than it really is.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing too. It's not just blue-haired liberals. Areas where they're supposed to be conservative, that the whites are cucked out too in the supposedly conservative areas,
like Texas,
like Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, these people should be conservative, man. These people are liberal. Like they go for Biden. Like they you know, it's like, yo, this is like Biden country and shit. And it's like when you talk to the people and you meet the people, like the people are scared. You never see a MAGA hat up here. Never. I'm talking about never see a MAGA ever. You may see a Trump sign in the front yard every once in a blue moon. I mean in a blue moon. They stopped these people. When I first started coming here, maybe 15 years ago, maybe 1 in 4 houses had a American flag in the front yard. Now, I ride around, I drive, run errands. I never see American flags anymore. You know why? Because the black people who came here, the first wave, started complaining that the American flag was racist. And all of a sudden you stopped seeing American flags. And it wasn't like nothing. I mean, I'm not a city hall meeting, but what I'm saying, I just know that the sentiment from the black people that came were like, oh my God, that's racist. And you just stopped seeing them over the years. It's just stopped seeing it. I'm talking about this was the type of town where you see out of like the movie where you just, the opening scene, the driving down the street, there's just American flags in every front yard, that type of town. and it was, and you don't see them anymore. And it's just, and I mean, we're talking about like less than 10% blacks. Less than 10% blacks have done that. Just them not liking it.
You're gonna have to move up.
No, I mean, it's still majority white, so it's like things are still a certain way. But I mean, like, and then they got like this fucking the goddamn POC prosecutor and shit, and like these are white people vote for the black people. You don't vote. They don't know when election day is. Black people don't know when election day is. These black people not voting for this shit. It's these white people voting for this shit. Black people don't know when the election for the new judge is. Black people ain't gonna show up to vote for the new judge or the police or the sheriff. Black people might show up to vote for the president.
But when they do, it's always for blue.
Maybe the mayor if it's a black candidate. But black people don't vote like that. These white people voting for these people for this shit.
Fisherman, I'm not trying to be defeatist or whatnot, but the truth is, yeah, it is that simple. But like, we just got to not give a fuck about what they say and then just push the conversation through. But when the majority of gliders are not willing to do that, then what can you do at that point in time?
When the American flag becomes racist, when we've done that, when we've convinced that the American flag is racist, and gliders didn't say "fuck you," you goddamn ape, you go piss up a rope. That was the first mistake. Gliders should have said that. Should have been the stance. Not saying literally you say that, but that should have been Gliders' stance towards Sunman, saying that the American flag was racist. But what they started doing is they started taking their flags out their front yards.
There's a boomer that lives near me that had an Israel flag in his front yard, and he took that down, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, you see more. You saw more Ukrainian flags 2 years ago in this town than American flags. Now you don't see any of them. It's the darndest thing. I mean, the houses around here, they come with a flagpole in the front yard. So it's not like you have to plant a flagpole out. All the houses in these areas have a flagpole on the property.
To fly the flag of America.
That's what type of town it was. You can even put the flag in it. Some they rusted and broke down over the years. Some people, but the property comes with a flagpole. Because these houses are old. These houses are built in the 30s and the 40s. These are not new houses. These houses are old houses.
Like the Jade Chappelle area. But,
Yeah.
his area did a good job. Well, he had to tell them, don't bring no sons.
Yeah. Gliders are just, I mean, and here's the thing. I don't hate black people. I don't dislike black people. I'm just saying that, like,
me neither.
Most black people don't like gliders. They don't like other black people. They don't get along with. They're troublesome as a group. Now, as individuals, a lot of black people are fine, but as a group, oh
They're
my God.
Yeah. It's really cringy. It's cringy.
Yeah, we cause trouble. We cause trouble.
I just want to tell you something. Pantheon's in the back. You bring her back. Okay.
Thanks, S Freak.
You're welcome.
Now, I wanted to say, sorry, because my internet cut out, the point about white pride diminishing. So St. George's Day was on the 23rd of April, and St. George is England's patron saint. And you would not have known you'd have had no idea in the foggiest because nothing happened. It was only like GB News would say things like St. George's Day, but the government didn't say anything. There wasn't any celebrations, no English flag, nothing. But in comparison, obviously, everyone knows St. Patrick's Day. Everyone is very happy to celebrate it. But St. George, there's been such a diminishing of English pride. And if you have an English flag, oh, you're a white van man, you're racist, you're xenophobic, you hate foreigners. And yeah, white people have adopted that. So it's a damn shame.
Yeah, it just the world needs gliders to run it. And that's the thing, that's the sad part about it. Like without gliders running the world, you don't have civil rights, you don't have an electrical grid, you don't have proper sewage, you don't have FiOS, you don't have peace. That's one thing that we take for granted.
You do in tiger countries, but that's the thing. The tigers are only going to keep that for themselves.
Well, the tigers, yeah, and also the tigers also have to be held in check by the dominant glider society. Whatever society, the tigers would abuse people if they could. Like
they do. Their governments do some shit.
Gliders kind of force people to at least be their level of civility, whatever level of civility they have. Like even if you look at even the slave trade, like gliders, like they had rules and shit for the slave trade. How many people you could put on a boat? You know what I'm saying? You couldn't dump the slaves off the side of the boat. They make laws. Gliders make laws. Something happens, the gliders make a regulation to try to fix it. No other group does that. Africans, it just goes on and on. Did you see that truck they were driving? There was no regulations. Gliders would instantly come there and be like, "Look, man, you can only fit this many people safely on the truck." The niggas, they had as many as they could fit on there. There was no
where that truck come from?
And then they complained, "Oh, we have to repair it so much."
Yeah.
Another thing I want to say is the tigers are also not very innovative. Like they rely on us for their advancements. Like why do the Chinese always spy on us? Because they can't invent their own shit. Once they get it, they can replicate it.
Right.
But they can't move forward without the gliders.
Exactly. Their brains don't work like that. That's a glitch in their brain. But they're shrewder than gliders too. So they don't care about if they're oppressing a group, they won't care what that group has to say about being oppressed. Gliders will listen to the group that's allegedly being oppressed, and they'll come to the table with them and over and over and over again, which is a great thing. I mean, for the group that's being oppressed, but don't expect that from the China man. He's just gonna oppress you for time and infinity.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what the Suns don't realize about the Tigers. Like they keep wailing on the Tigers over here in the USA. And I read an article on uns.com. Great website, by the way. You guys should check that out. That's how I found out about the show in one of the comment section. Most atrocities committed in Tiger countries by U.S. servicemen are by Sun servicemen, Sun soldiers, Sun sailors, all that other stuff. Like the Suns keep talking about like, oh, we're gonna wipe, like they're cheering about the gliders not existing anymore. But who's gonna be the dominant race? The Tigers. The Tigers are gonna. You think the Tigers aren't paying attention to how the Suns treat them? You know what I mean?
Esri, what show did you hear about Ike from?
It was a website called uns.com, UNZ. It's a website on news articles and commentary that's very right leaning. You guys should check it out. It's very racist.
It's very racist.
Kinda, yeah, like very race realist.
And what were they saying about Ike when you saw her? What was it?
No, it wasn't an article. It was a comment that said I forget what it said, but it mentioned the show. That's how I found out about the show. But But
Okay, getting there.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm saying. This is why you can't be nice to the Suns, because if you're nice to them, they're only going to want to destroy you, and they're going to put themselves in a bad situation. Like, no matter what you do for the Suns, they're going to end up in the same situation.
Right.
I mean, you can't be nice
Or
to
worse
anybody,
situation.
though. To
Yeah.
be fair, you
They're
can't be
gonna
nice
end up
to
in a
anyone.
worse situation.
Yeah, exactly. If there are no gliders, the Sandmen, they don't fucking like the Suns. The Tigers, they really don't like the Suns. If they're dominant, the Suns are fucked.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm saying. The reason why the Suns have anything in this world is because of the gliders. The reason why their population has been increasing is because of the gliders.
Right.
It all comes back.
The reason they don't have those customs, like think about how they used to when this have mass, what do they call it, mass sacrifice, human sacrifices. Like, that was a big thing in African culture, like human sacrifices, mass human sacrifices. You know what I mean? The gliders stopped them from doing that. Like, I mean, millions of people died in human sacrifices to the gods or to the ancestors and stuff like that.
What a waste.
That was just a part of life, you know. They said we gotta start doing Negroes from Negro lands again, but remember, like, the king would just to commemorate his dead ancestor, he would just kill 3,000 of his subjects. Remember, they were the one he wanted to send a message. He would tell it to a man and then cut his head off. Like, they wanted to send messages to the afterlife. They would say, "Hey, blah, 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 blah," and then cut the guy's head off.
Was that in Negroes in Negro land?
Yeah,
man, I believe
it. Yo,
That's some sick shit.
Human sacrifices was just as common as in African societies as
everyone did human sacrifice.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't documented though, right? I'm sure it was like, obviously it wasn't documented.
Well, the people who came what slavery ended it, because when the white man came, those people could be used for something. You kind of like gave a use for those people. Hey, we'll take them and we'll take them over here and we'll have them as slaves. And also, the white man made them when the white man colonized areas, he make people stop doing those type of things. But yeah, like human sacrifice, very, very common in ancient African societies. Very,
Everywhere,
very
right?
common.
I'd say everywhere for human sacrifice, but yeah.
I think
well, no, I'm talking about on the scale. Like I'm talking about like thousands and thousands. Like, you had it in
industrial
in Mexico. Yeah, Mexico. You had it in Mexico. Yet human sacrifices were on a big scale. Don't get me wrong. You had human sacrifice. You had the gliders. Their wars, basically human sacrifices, just running into each other and slaughtering each other on the battlefield. But I'm talking about rounding up your citizens and having a big festival and just cutting their heads off one by one.
Yeah.
For the God, that type of sacrifice.
It's crazy, how the Hombritos or the pre-Hombritos, they left all these like cities. They left all of this evidence of their existence, right? But the Suns, they don't have that, right?
No,
I know. Nothing.
The Suns don't have ruins because they didn't build. They didn't work with stone. They didn't work with metal. They didn't work with those type of things.
It almost feels impossible, to me. Like,
stand the test of time. Wood is biodegradable.
Yeah, or mud. But it almost feels impossible to me to fathom that possibility that they have nothing, no ruins. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, man. Shout out to Jimmy Fields. He says low IQ, low impulse control, unable to delay gratification, unable to plan or build. Thank God They're so good at chess.
Yeah, they be hustling in the park.
The little girls always be beating them too. You ever see that video where the little girl come up there, little Asian girl come up there and beat all the chess hustlers? I'll show you that one next episode. Those little chess hustlers in New York always get their ass kicked. They got this video where these little Asian girl, she go down there and kick all their asses. Get in the comment section, man. Any final thoughts?
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Hey, no
was a good
solutions, man. You
stream.
remember that.
Fuck the Juice Crew.
Pray for Pantheon that she stops dating George Floyd lookalikes.
I rebuke my name and George Floyd's in the same sentence, especially in a sexual manner. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I know fisherman isn't strong in Christianity, but I rebuke that.
Okay. Same blood time, same blood channel. Subscribe.
Salute.